my peak hoe phase, I had sex with like 12 dudes in 1 week. I lost like 4 pounds.
Whoa, how did
How did you lose 4 pounds?
And how
all
did
the
you,
cum inside
yeah,
you?
how'd you 12 guys in 1 week?
Exactly.
There's
the most I did was 8, so that's pretty good.
12, like, where did you meet them?
It was so funny.
Apps.
Energy brought in some ends, little bitches the first of the month. Run, I'm in the game, little bitch, I'm much of the city, I'm afraid of the sun. I went and paid in the bill.
Worst thing that can happen if you try. If the day that I walked out of that hotel, right, and I went to do this, it doesn't work out. I can go back and be a bellman again whenever I want to. You can always go back and do that. The worst part is not trying.
My husband is the head of the household. My husband is the man of the house. My husband makes the final decision. Yes, he allows me to do what I need to do, what I want to do. But if he decides that I don't need to do something, I don't do that. And not because he controls me or I'm weak or whatever. No, it's about I trust him. I trust that he has the power to make the right decision. And that's why I married him. If I didn't think that he could lead me the right way, he wouldn't be my husband. So I know there's a lot of independent women out there that don't need a man or whatever. But if you got a man, let him be a man. Because if you don't complain when he's not leading and he's not providing and he's not being the man that you won't allow him to be. Hear me.
Let's be real here. Women these days have so many different codes for just saying the word sex. And they have so many different codes for just saying the word sex. Because they know morally it's incorrect. Because the ladies know, if y'all keep saying your body count doesn't matter, if it doesn't matter, you don't have to make up things like entanglement or discovering myself or hot girl summer or I'm in the streets or I'm just living my best life. All these different, or a famous one, I'm never in a relationship. I've been single for how many years? All these different codes for just saying you're having a bunch of sex. Because you know it's not morally right for a woman to do. Someone asks me, what did I do last night? I'll just straight up say it. I had sex. Y'all completely different. Let's be real here.
My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My
Just let me fall to my glove. Look you. Just let me fall to my glove.
something in the way. Something in the way. Yeah.
You a feminist?
No, not as it's currently defined, certainly not.
No, well, in any other definition?
Well, I think that anybody who doesn't think that the competitive landscape should be opened up for equality of opportunity is not thinking. And so everyone's interests are better served if people have as equal access to opportunity to display their talents and to manifest their talents in the world as possible. So in that sense, certainly. But feminism now, as far, and this is why it's so deeply unpopular, a very small minority of women in the UK identify as feminists. And the reason for that is it's primarily become an ideological weapon. And it's an ideology that I detest, actually, the ideology that it's associated with, collectivist ideology.
Right.
That's gonna get you killed, but price gonna be the death of you and you and me and you and you.
Just remember that the largest mass shooting in US history happened on December 29, 1890. The U.S. Army confiscated the firearms and weapons of the Sioux Indians for their own safety and then slaughtered them.
This is you. You better lower your motherfucking tone when you talking to me.
Okay. If this is you, you better shut the fuck up and keep walking.
Tryna get whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, big 4L gang, bitch slam in this bitch. Yeah, diamonds on my neck, everyone I'm here. Yeah, hoes on my dick, she gon' hit and miss. Yeah, she be talking this, I be talking that. Yeah, she be talking money, I ain't talking that.
My grandfather telling me, God rest his soul, before he passed away, that men have 4 different appetites that you have to tend to. Physically, you need to make sure that you know how to cook, and if you don't know how to cook, then find out how to cook, and if you can't, then at least have a meal on the stove or in the stove by the time he get there that's warm. He said a visual appetite. He said keep yourself up. He said if you're the only woman that this man is going to be with, at least keep yourself up. He said because men still need to be stimulated visually so that way they can crave you. He said, and yeah, he said, love will still be there. He said, and although your looks will fade, you the one woman that he wants to look at. Give him something. And then there's a sexual. My grandfather told me, he said that, yes, visually you can stimulate a man. He said, but don't forget that men are sexual in nature. He said, and so they're going to want to do what they want to do to their woman. You're the only woman that he's sleeping with. You're the only woman that he desired. And then last one, he said, men do have an emotional appetite. He said, all men want to feel is appreciated, understood, heard. That's it.
What does it mean when a guy doesn't post you on social media?
Don't mean a bitch ass thing. Plain and simple.
You can't escape politics anymore. That's not normal. Do you know how much the average Japanese person talks about politics? They uniformly in the country hate the government. I saw a girl on Tinder in the United States. She says, I was raised right, and she had like a fucking little elephant and American flag next to her, which is symbolizing I was raised Republican. I swipe a couple later, I see a fucking beluga. It was like, if you voted for Trump or you're a Republican, swipe left. So I've got to bring my voting card to a fucking date now. Prove to these girls that I'm just equally as stupid as you.
Slash his throat open. I would carve numbers into his chest. I would gouge out his eyes. I swear to God. But that's me. Further questions, Your Honor.
You need to become the kind of person who doesn't take disrespect from females. Why are you going to take disrespect from people?
Where the hell do you think you're going?
Excuse me?
Hey, you look at me when I'm talking to you, bitch. Mr. Stantler. Fuck you, baby.
I'm your only customer. Why are you always polishing the glass? Trick of the trade. Makes people nervous when a bartender just stands there. So lay some bartender wisdom on me. I'm lost in space here. You're not where you want to be. You feel like you're supposed to be somewhere else. You said it. Well, say you could snap your fingers and be wherever you wanted to be. I bet you'd still feel this way. Not in the right place. The point is, you can't get so hung up on where you'd rather be that you forget how to make the most of where you are. What are you telling me? Take a break from worrying about what you can't control. Live a little. Live a little.
In a senior law firm, it's like you're at the top of your profession. Well, then what? Well, so then they looked around and they thought, here I am with all these like hyper competitive men, perfectly willing to work 80 hours a week nonstop to stay at the top. What the hell are they doing? Because that's the real question. What is it that characterizes this small percentage of hyper competitive men? It's not. You can assume that that's how everyone should be, but first of all, that isn't how everyone is. Or you can flip that and say, well, there's only a small minority of human beings that are willing to do this, to work flat out 8 hours a week. I mean, they're certainly being paid for it. Let's make no mistake about that. But, well, what about the rest of life? Well, that's what the women asked. Why am I doing this? And that's a great question. Well, for men, there's a different answer than for women. It's a really different answer. And it isn't like the men are exactly thinking this through. It's more like this is an integral part of male motivation. The more successful you are as a man, the more women like you.
But the problem that you have now is that as women are getting better educated, with more employment, more status, more prestige, they compete themselves out of their ability to find an attractive mate.
And I've had that conversation with lots and lots of women, and they say, well, what do I do, Rollo? How do I do it? I say, well, you have to feminize yourself. Well, how do I do that? Well, get in touch with your feminine side, and you got to present yourself as being female rather than being male or masculine, right? And so for me to say, fem it up, right? That sounds like dumb yourself down. And that's exactly what Rob is saying, or Chris is saying right here. Exactly.
Released a video, or someone released a clip of me talking about some of the things we just talked about. And it went out on YouTube Shorts, and it's got like 5 million views in a month or something like that. And the comment section is unbelievably vitriolic. Mm-hmm. Every single comment is vitriolic, and it's all from women. It's like, who is this old white bastard telling us what we should do with our bodies? And I wasn't being judgmental. I was just saying exactly what I said to you, which is...
Actually, you were being judgmental, and it's okay. Call it judgmental. Do so. Embrace the judginess. Seriously, we need more judgmentalism. We need people to call women to the carpet, hold people's feet to the fire, rub their noses in it, Jordan. Call it what it is and embrace it and love it and live in it. It is judgmentalism, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, I've watched women over the entire course of my life with, I would say, an affectionate eye. I love my sister. I love my wife. I have a daughter. I love my mother. I'm pretty happy about women, all things considered. I don't have an axe to grind in relationship to how they should conduct their lives. I don't even know how they should conduct their lives. I've watched what happens.
I do.
And I've also watched what happens to women who hit 29 or 30 and then can't conceive. And that is not fate I would wish on anyone. It's awful. And 30% of couples fall into that. 30% of couples have difficulty conceiving. It's a lot.
After the softer, more agreeable guys, because they were the only...
This has got to be one of the most interesting fucking things I've ever seen on TikTok. For the longest time, I always thought women were actually not going for the guys that were in shape or the alphas, because they were just afraid of the whole, Hollywood movie star look makes you a player or this and that. The shit we used to watch on TV shows and shit, how the popular guy with the muscles and the jock was always the player, the guy, the heartbreaker, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like in some cases women do see it like that, but this woman literally pretty much just exposed the whole game, how women choose and select guys by hand. She was, if y'all take some time after this TikTok to go watch that shit, it's interesting as fuck. She was saying that the guys that they tend to manipulate easier are the ones that they go for, or at least she did. And that's a pretty attractive woman, so I can assume that the women who, most women, in general, would go through the same shit.
Girl, you and I both know that when men say, if you want me to respect you like a man, then I'm gonna hit you like a man, that they're not talking about self-defense. And guys love to be like, well, what about self-defense? What about self-defense? I agree that women are not above the law. No one should be allowed to hit anyone. No one should be abusing anyone. Unfortunately, women are abused by men at such an alarming rate that it's 2022 and women are still fighting for safety. Just recently in Toronto, a man set a woman on fire. And again recently in Canada, a man pushed a woman onto the train tracks, She rolled off the track and saved herself. And you know what the media said? You know what the train owner said? They were like, yeah, we are partially negligent for...
It's really kind of disgusting that you want to extend body modifications without consent to minors when all that was taken was an elective procedure from women. See, funny thing, 90% of all the men in America already had their right to bodily autonomy stripped away at birth. See, their bodies were modified without their consent. 20,000 nerve endings were ripped and shredded and crushed away while they screamed in agony and nurses laughed. And now you want to further modify men's bodies without their consent. And you wonder why we men don't believe feminists. Maybe it's because y'all keep pushing elective procedures on our bodies that we don't consent to, when all that's being done to you is taking away a procedure you want.
All sports should be gender neutral? Yeah, I think so. The fact that they're separated perpetuates this idea that male and females, the gender terms, are separate and the skill level is different. So men are stronger, so they have a separate sport, which is kind of bullshit.
You're raising a kid for 18 years or paying child support. How does that sound? This is...
Now if we get pregnant, you're having a kid for 18 years or you're paying child support. How does that sound?
I hate to tell you, but men have been doing this all along. And I haven't heard a peep about it. So, you're preaching to the choir. I will say I have my children, and I pay my child support. I take care of mine. But you don't have a leg to stand on with this argument. Sorry.
Everything I said is real as hell, and they can't even tell the real from the fake.
Bring the action.
This video kicked me in the guts because this happened to me. Destroyed my marriage, broke up my family. I lost half my assets that I worked most of my life to obtain. I was completely heartbroken. I questioned everything about me, every part of me. I become a total introvert when I used to be a very fun, outgoing, charismatic guy. So it changes a person. So next time you think about becoming a homewrecker, maybe think about how it affects the people around you. And I hope...
Bitch, you're sugar-free at Crash Dummy. I ain't the smartest motherfucker in the world, but you just another bitch that need gas money. And this is some news you can use. Bitch, a million motherfuckers wanna be in my shoes. Bitch, I'm a legend in these streets, the better kind. How many of y'all niggas know where y'all bitch at right now? Never mind. Believe everything that bitch tell you, huh? Don't lie to splurge. Boyfriend, pimpin', nigga, shit, what is it? Mine or hers? Mobe then. Your average nigga break his neck to go to your house. Have I ever been there? Okay then. What I'ma give a bitch a pass for? Spent all that time in school and got a job that ain't got nothing to do with you with your class for. Here goes some real sugar-free toughener. If the bitch got a gang of play cousins and play brothers, they fucking her. Sugar-free to pee. Look like the game hurt. If the bitch got 2 or 3 phones, she either a hoe or a brain surgeon. How to write the book, motherfucker.
Once my boyfriend was asleep, so I wanted to go fuck my ex real quick, so I drove down to the gas station, let him cream pie me, and then I came home to sneak into bed. My boyfriend woke up and then wanted to fuck me, and he started eating me out and told me how good my pussy tastes, and he's eating my ex's cum out of me, and I never told... What the fuck is wrong with you?
You can always be thinner. Look better.
I know what you want. You want a guy that's sweet.
A guy that's tough, a feminist who likes to pay for stuff. The kind of guy that gets along with your friends without being attracted to any of them. A good boy, a bad boy, a good bad boy, a half good, half bad, half boy. Loves your brother, sensitive but not weekend. Is a great lover, calls your mother on the weekend. Now you might think this guy only exists in your mind. But guess what? You're right.
No. Not at all. Men have no reason to listen to a group of women that said they don't need them. We don't have no reason to listen to a group of women that say they could do it by themselves. We definitely don't need to listen to a group of women that try to say what a real man is, but in the same breath will say they don't need to listen to a man. The disconnect is and will always be on the women, because the math will never fucking math with women.
What's a scam that's become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore?
Going to the motherfucking club. Cause when you think about it, you spend all this motherfucking money just to be around a bunch of other superficial motherfuckers. You gonna pay $10 to $20 motherfucking dollars for valet, a bullshit version of valet. Then you gotta pay anywhere between $10 to $40 just to get inside the club. Then it's a possibility that you might be standing up for the whole night if you don't want to pay $50 to $100 for a fucking section. And if you want bottle motherfucking me service, you're gonna have to pay anywhere between $150 to probably $300 just for 3 bow-legged bitches to walk up to you with a sign and some fucking sparklers and a bullshit 750 milliliter bottle that costs about $30 motherfucking me dollars at the goddamn liquor store. Then some of the women just come up in that bitch just to look cute. They ain't got no social skills or nothing, so they just sit there on their phone. Then you gotta deal with a nigga being on bullshit waiting for the signal to shoot the motherfucking place up. That's why I stay my motherfucking ass at home, man.
So the whole world is basically bashing me right now because I'm the baby mama who was upset at her baby daddy because he only decided to give his child McDonald's and not the rest of my other 3 kids. I have 4 kids. You knew the situation when you dated me. Our child is the youngest child. So keep that in mind before y'all make me the villain. That means all my other kids knew him. He was buying the McDonald's when we were together. My kids have to go through a transition of our breakup as well. Like, yeah, me and you broke up, but my kids got to feel it too. So now my kids have to see only one of their siblings get McDonald's and not the rest of them. And they know it's coming from you because, of course,
Stop
like,
dating single mothers.
Together. They used to see you. You used to do it for them. But now you don't want to do that for them anymore. Like, to me, that's petty. That.
Who the fuck you talking to? Not me. Couldn't be me. No, not me. Who the fuck?
Sensational.
I'm not sending a cash app to no American woman that doesn't have a personality. I'm stuck in the United States until I get my money all the way right where I can live abroad. But in the meantime, I'm looking at these memes. Someone said it's Women's Day and my bank account hasn't went off. Are you fucking serious? Grow the fuck up and get your own money.
Guns have more rights than girls. Guns have more rights than girls.
I regret to inform all women that you are no longer allowed in schools, federal, state, or local government buildings, most malls, most movie theaters, In most states, you're not even allowed to be seen in public unless you're with a police officer or a member of the military. I'm very sorry you have to hear this from me, but as soon as President Joe Biden repealed Roe v. Wade, immediately abortion was banned in every single state. Also every single other country ever in history. And after that, it made it to where women have less rights than guns. Sorry.
If he takes you for coffee for a first date, he better be a single dad. Otherwise, he's lazy.
This has got to be satire. I really fucking hope this is satire. Women, please don't listen to this. Don't listen to a single second of this, for the love of God. A guy is not going to take you on a golden chariot ride on the first date. I'm sorry to tell you that. If you're expecting the moon like it's a wonderful life, move on. The dating game isn't for you. I'm going to be honest. Men don't know what the fuck they're doing on the first date. We really just hope that we don't pop a tent or shit our pants so we might get a second date. The fact that you said yes to a first date blows our fucking mind. Now, that's not to say that we don't want to take you to the first mission to Mars as a first date. That's one hell of a game. But we just can't. These standards are way too fucking high, and I don't high jump. When I was a server at a restaurant, guess where I took a girl on a first date? To work. And somehow we dated for 3 months. Guys, we're doing fine.
Have you ever wondered why your girl is constantly accusing you of doing things? If you say, oh, she's just insecure, she just has trust issues, you're brainwashed. She is going to accuse you of everything she's secretly doing. So if she says, you're talking to other girls, you're cheating on me. That's what she's doing. She's just trying to throw it on you so it takes the attention off of her. Females like to play the blame game. So pay attention. Whatever she's blaming you of doing, there you go.
Your wife will listen to her boss, no problem. Her friends, no problem. Her enemies, no problem. Social media, no problem. So why is it a problem for a wife to listen to her husband? Show me.
Look, you two guys are just guys. Okay? Mr. White, he's the devil.
I'm the cook. I'm the man who killed Gus Fring.
A guy opens his door and gets shot, you think